Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Yanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Dilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Satgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanandam, welcome to another live talk show here from Nithyananda Pitam. I'm here with my lovely guest, Eszter Mango Groll, and she's Hungarian, living in Belgium, and now we've kidnapped her and she's in India. And she just finished the Yoga Acharya training program, so she may be coming and teaching yoga in a city near you. But I'm going to hand it over and let her fill you in on her experiences with Swamiji and what has led her to this amazing place.
Nithyanandam, thank you for the invitation. Actually, the first time when I met Swamiji, I was cleansing my root chakra via YouTube tutorial, and the next video was Swamiji's discourse about the root pattern. And as soon as the video popped up, basically it was a direct connection with Swamiji. I just sit up in bed and I couldn't believe that this is happening. I looked at Swamiji and I had this feeling that I know him. I know somewhere, I didn't know where, but I know him. So directly I started to search for him on internet, and I find out the Inner Awakening program, and it was just 3 weeks before the next Inner Awakening. So I knew that I had to go back to work after a 9 months sabbatical, and I was like, okay, whatever happens, I have to be there. So I registered myself for Inner Awakening. The next day I called HR. I said, okay, what are the possibilities? They gave me 21 days off. The rest of the year I took all my holidays at once. Then I spoke with one of the members from the Netherlands, the Nithyananda Sangha, and then we talked, and he didn't have to convince me, but I was convinced that, okay, this is it, I have to do it. So after 3 weeks I was in Varanasi at Inner Awakening, and it was just really amazing, the whole thing as it happened. Actually, from the first moment I met Swamiji, my life changed. From that very moment, all kind of little miracles were coming in my life, and everything happened effortlessly. And even I didn't know what was the completion process, or if I can talk with Swamiji in my inner space, connecting with Ananda Ganda. I didn't know all that, but I did it by nature. I spoke with Swamiji, I woke up in the morning with Swamiji. My life became just so happy. I was radiating this happiness everywhere, whatever I did. It was so exciting. So this is how I met Swamiji in 2015 September, and I did the Inner Awakening in October 2015.
So this is something a lot of people have a little trouble grasping, but as Swamiji said, he incarnated with 2.2 million souls who know him. And he said some people will just need to see one video or one photo of him and the memory will be alive. And I had the same reaction to him. I thought, this is the person I've been looking for. And we often can't explain further than that. It's just, I have to get there. I have to find out what is going to happen to my life because of this person. Now, did you have any kind of a spiritual upbringing or a religious background, or were you just a seeker?
I don't have any religious bondage or connection to any religion, actually. And I knew that I was searching for something. I didn't know what it was, but when you have this feeling that something has to happen, something is going to happen, so I was constantly waiting for this thing. Okay, when is it gonna happen? And I always associated it with enlightenment. So I always told my friend, I'm going to enlighten, because I had the feeling that I'm actually waiting for enlightenment. And that moment when I met Swamiji, that was the clear answer that, okay, this is the thing what I was waiting for. I didn't know that it was that, but at that moment it became clear. And of course our mind is like so conditioned that there are lots of doubts coming up here and there, but deep inside you know that it's just your ego. It's like you have to go through all these doubts and the patterns. Swamiji teaches beautifully the completion process and the root pattern. We have to find our root pattern, the first incident from our childhood, and we have to complete with that incident, because that controls all our life. So basically, all that the doubts that come up in me, it's just related to pattern, and now I know it. So now I consciously work on it, and I don't let myself get into this circle where lots of people cannot come out because they don't know how. They believe that this is life, they are just waiting for their death. They cannot enjoy life because the pattern controls their life. But as soon as it's cleaned out, and actually it's an easy technique, it's painful that 2 hours when you dig in and you complete with it, and you have to relive it 15 times and relive it. It's a hard like emotional process, and all the crap is coming up, and you cry and you suffer. But when it's leaving your body and your muscle memory, it's like it's a beautiful celebration. The life is, you realize that moment that this is life, this is what we are here for, to celebrate life.
Well, and you said an interesting thing to me one morning. We were walking up to the temple like we do every morning, just in the sunshine with the birds singing and the jasmine trees. And you said that you've met many people here who came because they've been told they're dying of cancer or they're in severe depression, but you said you were actually happy, or you were under the delusion that you were happy. So that's an interesting place to come from.
Yes, actually, when I talk about Swamiji and my experiences to other people, they tell me that I found Swamiji because maybe I had pain or suffering in my life. Some people don't know me, and then I have to explain them that I was maybe all in my life. I can say for maybe 1 year I felt depression, but all the rest I was a happy person with lots of friends, lots of happenings. I tried so many things in my life, but there was something, this whole happiness was based on something we call illusion, because I realized when I met Swamiji that all my happiness sources were something from outside. Let's say, since I'm a kid, I've been eating chocolate like 2 kilos a day, and then I'm like jumping left and right because I'm high from chocolate. When this happiness was leaving my system, again I took a bar of chocolate, again I was happy. Then when I went to party, I had to drink alcohol. I tried out other things what made me happy, and then of course those things make us happy, but how you cope the day after with your state of being. Yes. Then you realize, oh, maybe I should again drink because in that state of being I'm happy. So all the time you search for happiness, the source is something from outside. And I realized that as soon as I cut all those sources from outside, all the happiness sources, as soon as I cut them, I started to feel this emptiness, like I started to feel depressed. And this is what happened to me after Inner Awakening. I was for 1 month in bed, like I was active, I was at home, I was really sick, but I was doing completion process from the morning till the evening. I did my yoga practice. I did the Nirahara Samyama. This is what Swamiji revealed to us. It's a cleansing 21-day long liquid. I wouldn't say diet, but it's a completion process. You can only drink liquid. And after 1 month, I started to see the light again. But in that 1 month, when I had to get rid of all that pattern and cognition that I have to reach out different things for my happiness, that was a hard journey for 1 month. And after that, it was beautiful because I found something inside that I knew whenever I go back to that source, I can be happy. And Swamiji calls it the bliss chemistry.
And so just when you thought you were going back to Belgium and everyone figured, oh, she's back, she'll get back to normal, boom, you arrived here again for the teacher training, which was so wonderful to see you come. But you just seemed to connect with that so dramatically. You just, as soon as I saw you, I thought, of course she's a yoga teacher. And you're staying on as a volunteer now with the yoga department. So how is that for you? It's a new life change.
Yes, actually, Swamiji shows us the path. What is our purpose on earth? And lots of people are searching for the purpose. So we try lots of things, but still something is missing. And I asked Swamiji in October at my inner awakening, I asked him, what is my life path? And then he said, let me figure it out for you. And when I got here to the yoga teaching training, I knew that this is it. I want to teach yoga. This can be a part of my life path. Maybe there is another thing I can be also. I can serve the humanity, or I can be the part of the whole organization beautifully. But yoga is definitely there, because Swamiji teaches the yoga, the authentic yoga, the origin of the yoga, and it comes from Sadashiva himself. Sadashiva was a living, enlightened person 15,000 years ago, and Devi, his love, wanted to be the same as Sadashiva. So Devi asked him, how can I be like you? Show me the path. So Sadashiva wrote everything down, how you have to brush your teeth, how you have to work, when you have to wake up, what are the daily routines, and he put all this in the agamas. And this is what we learn now, the agamas. How can we be a fulfilled, enlightened being as Sadashiva was himself. So the yoga comes from Sadashiva, and here at the teaching training we are learning the original yoga. And the difference what I feel with this yoga and other yoga what I tried is that I feel the result directly. So yoga is completion, and that moment when I start my practice, I just use all those techniques that Swamiji revealed to us. For example, declaration. When there is a position I cannot hold, I just say, I'm Sadashiva, I can do it. And that moment, like something is lifting me up. It happens beautifully. And the completion. I feel really complete when I do yoga, because if you are not complete, then you cannot do yoga.
Well, and the beautiful thing about this revival is that Swamiji's reminding people that yoga is the first step, and then you go on and use that connection with the divine and immerse yourself into it. It's not just a physical workout. You're not just supposed to bound out the door and go to the bar and have some drinks or, start talking to people. It's actually puts you into that state of stillness, even samadhi. Yoga prepares you for those higher states, and that's what I love about the way you've been trained as a teacher, is you can help people get into those states and really experience what life is supposed to be about. And you said another amazing thing to me today. Swamiji gave an amazing talk this morning about Sadashivoham, the December inner awakening, and the immense dimensions that he's going to be revealing to the world. And you said you just jumped on and signed up for it. So So you're going to be it's Trinidad Tobago in December. And so you didn't even pause. What hit you when he was explaining that?
Basically, whatever Swamiji says, for me, it's like, this is as it is. I don't question, I don't doubt. If Swamiji says we have to be there at Inner Awakening because it will be just a super nice experience, and Sadashiva will be awakened in us, and we will have with all our existence, we will be Sadashiva, because he will show us and help us to have this experience. I cannot say no. It's something that my inner space knows that I cannot say no, because no comes from intelligence, but it's something that I just do because I feel like I have to do it. And everyone who is interested in inner awakening, or let's say searching for something, but they don't know what, inner awakening is a must. You have to try it, and if you are not connected, I know stories when people tried inner awakening, they didn't feel connection to Swamiji. They came back after 3 years for another inner awakening because there was this inner urge to come, and then the connection was there. It's like, as I understand, Sadashiva is the source. We are the source, and everybody is the source. So everybody has to go back to that state, and it's only Swamiji who can teach us. And this is what's gonna happen in December.
And I know this is a concept that is very new to so many of us, because I was raised thinking God was some bearded guy out there that I had to find, and what happens if I miss him? Like, it was a very distant experience. So the fact that Swamiji is just a vessel that pure consciousness is coming through is almost beyond our cognition. But what you have found and what I found is whatever source has been trying to tell us and we have been too busy to hear, finally there's a body in front of us that can just go, okay, let me explain it one more time. Do this, you'll feel better. And it would be great if all of us were just directly connected and we could get it on our own, but it's very rare for somebody to be in that state, and that's what Inner Awakening is doing, is putting that person in front of you who's, like you said, whatever he says, it's what you're supposed to do. And that's what I found as well, is even if it seems like an illogical explanation or project, just do it, because it opens up something we didn't realize was hidden. You have a wonderful story. We won't mention names, but you mentioned one of the students at the Acharya training for yoga came just to learn to teach yoga, wasn't here to make friends. Can you explain what happened with him?
Yes, we meet actually all kinds of people at Inner Awakening. So it's not just only spiritual seekers come, every kind of people. And I met a person who the first day he told us that he doesn't want to make friends. He's here to teach, to learn yoga, that's it. And within 3 hours he was smiling, and you could see that already something has changed. Only 3 hours just being in Swamiji's breathing space changed something in him. And there are so many stories like this, physical healings, emotional healings, the cognitions, the way we change the cognition. We look at the same happening, we look at from a different angle, and then we realize that, oh my God, for 30, 40, 50 years I was hanging on this problem, and it's just like 10 minutes shift in the cognition, and the pain is out from the system. So why to suffer? It's really, life is about celebrating and being happy and feeling fulfilled. And actually Hinduism, because this is the other thing I often receive, that people are not religious. They cannot connect to Hinduism. But Hinduism is a lifestyle. There are thousands of gods, because for every inch of your body they have a god to celebrate. Then
So the word you're using, gut?
God.
Oh, God.
God. Yeah. Yes, my English. Every day I tell Karpataru that please, my English, I want to have a nicer accent. But it's getting better, actually.
Great. You're doing great. Because each body part has a god.
Yes. So because it's also, some people cannot understand how come that Hinduism has so many gods, and I understood it that for everything we can worship a god, because it's nice to worship anything or everything in life, and actually here in the ashram we wake up, we start our day with panchakriya, with cleansing our system inside, outside. Then we do yoga practice. Then we take a bath, and then we go to have puja, so chanting for half an hour. Then we walk up to the temple, we speak with the Kalpataru tree, then we go down again, have Swamiji's daily discourse, what is like, it's always a click, like, oh my God, can it go further? Like every day I ask, can it go higher? And yes, every day he's expanding us, and a really beautiful feeling. And then before the satsang we dance half an hour. So it's the first 4 hours of your day is pure celebration and love, because we here love each other. We of course we have ups and downs, but the love is radiating from the place. So
I know when I first came, I thought, well, how does anything get done here? Because not only was this celebration happening here, but in India, I think Swamiji said 250 days out of the year are official celebrations. And I was coming from that Western mentality of productivity, billable hours. What have you done to make yourself worthwhile? And we've got it so backwards. Here in India, they celebrate being alive. If each day is their last day on earth, it's okay. They celebrated being here. And I'm sure you've seen that shift too from Hungary and Belgium.
The shift?
Shift from the way they live there.
Yes, of course, because the way we work in Europe, it's more about the money. And here Swamiji teaches us about the 4 tattvas according to what we have to live our life. And it's integrity, authenticity, responsibility, and enriching. And when you live your life with integrity, that you always fulfill every words and thoughts that you utter to yourself or others, and when you live on your highest potential, then you start to radiate, you start to realize your own self, that oh my God, I can be able to do much more than before. And then the responsibility comes, that you take responsibility for everything that is happening around you and with you. So there is no accident. Even if you see an accident outside, it's not an accident. It's somehow your inner space attracted that happening. It's the violence in you. So if you complete with the violence, you will never see accidents anymore. And then the enriching comes, that is actually the most beautiful thing, because when you enrich and when you reach out to people and you talk about Swamiji and they get also connected to him, it's the feeling, it's like so beautiful that you realize that we have to enrich people and we have to help for the whole humanity to raise the consciousness and the happiness. And Swamiji is here for this purpose.
And I think our biggest duty is to try and explain the state that he exists in, because it's so rare to come across a being who is an avatar, and an avatar means the descent of the divine into human form. And so many people in the West, especially when I was in California, there's lots of spiritual teachers, and they put you in a very beautiful place, and they tell you how wonderful you are, and you feel great for a week because everyone's been patting you on the head, but you haven't ripped out, like you say, the completion process. When you're undergoing that surgery, can be quite dramatic and upsetting, but it's because you're removing that darkness that was haunting you your whole life. And a lot of these other programs, they just put a Band-Aid on it, but it's going to come back. It's not going to go away unless you do that deep drilling. And I have to give points to people who come here and just say, let's go. I'm not sure what's going to happen to me. And, one day you'll see someone curled up in the fetal position, crying. And then the next day they can't stop dancing. They're just bouncing. And I see that in the Girl Cool kids too. The brand new little kids will come in, and a lot of them are sad. They miss their parents. They don't know why they've been put in this school. And then, a couple of days later, they're dancing their hearts out, and they can't wipe the smile off their face. So it's an astonishing energy field to experience. And I'll be interested to talk to you after the Sadashivoham inner awakening, because what Swamiji is exploring this morning, he talked about how you can't compare Sadashiva with God, because God is about, it's G-O-D, so it's generating existence, operating, and destruction, whereas Sadashiva is those three elements plus delusion and liberation. So those are the actions that are going on, but then there's 11 dimensions that we operate in, and then on top of that there are 25 states of consciousness. And he said that's what he's going to be unveiling in this Sadashivoham. So this is beyond any inner awakening he's done before, because the profound science that's going to be just delivered to the world is going to be so massive. I'm not quite sure. You'll probably look completely different. You'll probably just evolve as someone, otherworldly, because I really feel like he's moving us to higher and higher dimensions, and maybe we won't even be visible to the rest of the planet after this. So we have just a few minutes left. Is there anything you want to sum up or say to any of your friends back home?
Yeah, I would say that everybody come to Sadashivoham. I mean, what is there? 21 days in your life spending with an experience that you can just never imagine and you can never have from anywhere else. So I would say come and experience Sadashivoham in a beautiful place. It's not gonna be in India, and just be cool and do something in your life that you never did before, because for this life path actually we need lots of courage and lots of devotion and dedication, because it's not always easy. People sometimes tell me that it's good for me, I'm on holiday, but it's nothing to compare with holiday. It's a constant inner journey, and you get to know yourself, and this is why we are here, to get to go back to our source. So this is what I would be so happy if all my friends could come here. That would be a global celebration.
And I'll send the same shout out to my friends in Canada. Come to Trinidad, Tobago, and have the time of your life. And we'll end with the Purna mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamodachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Satguru Paduka Paramastu. Om Nithyanandam